Good morning. This is Libby at Breathe Physical Therapy and Wellness. I am coming to you today to talk about the fourth trimester. Now, I hear from lots of women that we work with that they didn't even realize that there was a fourth trimester, that they didn't realize what a fourth trimester is. I've heard a lot of people being really frustrated that their healthcare providers haven't even emphasized this concept of a fourth trimester. So if we're talking about mistakes that are made during the first trimester, the first one is not even understanding or recognizing that there is a fourth trimester. So let's talk about what that is. So, a trimester is a 3-month period, and we break pregnancy down into 3 trimesters, ending with the birth of a baby, hopefully that is super healthy and happy and we're all getting along. But the fourth trimester, one of the reasons that we have our babies at the end of around 40 weeks of gestation, and there's some interesting how that's calculated. The reason that we deliver our babies when we do and we're not pregnant for 18 months like an elephant is because our brains are enormous and our pelvises cannot deliver a baby with an enormous brain. So we have to deliver those babies before they're really, really ready to be on the outside. So if we can consider the fourth trimester as a time where we're still kind of pregnant, it's still a time when the baby needs to be near the mom, and it's a time when the mom needs to be resting because our hormones are changing so dramatically that if we deliver a baby and then try to get back to our normal life, it's extra hard. So we need to consider during that fourth trimester that the baby just still needs to be part of your body, but on the outside. Now that can put a lot of stress and strain on our bodies, and we need to have our, that puts a lot of pressure on us. So there's exceptions to that, but understanding if we can get it into the mindset before the baby is born that you are still kind of pregnant, it's a lot harder after the baby's born, right? Because the baby can cry, and the baby, when we're pregnant, we can sleep. When we're in our fourth trimester and the baby's crying, we can't sleep. So that fourth trimester can be extra hard because now you're also dealing with a new identity because you used to be this person that did not have a baby. And now you're this person who has a baby, and suddenly you don't just grab your keys and run to Target. Suddenly you have to make sure the baby is fed, and you have to make sure that you've got diapers, and you've got to make sure the baby hasn't got a dry diaper on, and then the second you're about ready to leave the house, the baby's got a poopy diaper and it's coming up the backside, and now you've got to change the diaper, and you've got to make sure if you're going to leave the house, leave the baby with somebody else, you've got to make sure they've got a bottle and they know where everything is. And suddenly you've become this person who's got just a lot more responsibilities. You've gone from who you used to be to being a mother. And that's a big identity shift, especially with that first baby. So again, during that first trimester, there's a lot to deal with, and your hormones are shifting. There's a lot going on. And so we've just got to recognize that there is a fourth trimester and not rush back into our lives. So, if you can take the time off of work, if you can make sure that you're not put into the role of having to entertain your guests. If you can, put yourself into the role of someone who just needs to rest while your uterus heals. Delivering a baby, there is a wound inside your uterus that needs to heal, and we have to give it time to heal. And that's the point of the 6-week check when we go to see the physician, is that doctor says, okay, your uterus is shrunk back down, your uterus is healed. Now you're not healing from a wound anymore. But that doesn't mean that your pelvic floor is ready to run and jump, or for sex for that matter. That doesn't mean that your physical body is strong enough to handle the activities you used to handle. That does not mean that your hormones have totally settled down and so you can be considered a rational human being again. That just means that your uterus is healed and your wound is healed. A very good indication during the first half of that fourth trimester that you haven't been resting is that you have increased bleeding. So that's a good indication that it's time to rest some more. So if we can consider that fourth trimester as a time where we still have the baby near us as much as possible, where we still you know, even if we're bottle feeding, that we're bottle feeding the baby even skin to skin so that the baby is near us, because during that first trimester, that baby still thinks that he or she is part of the mom. So if we can encourage that and support our friends and family and bring them food and do the shopping for them and take care of their other kids so that we can spend that fourth trimester healing and getting our emotions back in check, that can be great. So that first mistake is not recognizing that there's a fourth trimester. So talk to your friends about it. Let's normalize the fourth trimester. Second mistake is not rehabbing our pelvic floor and core mindfully, slowly, thoughtfully. So if we're spending that whole fourth trimester healing, it's not the time to like get gung-ho go after our core rehab. You know, some of us can. Some of us are just not ready for it, and it's okay to give ourselves the space to take time to heal slowly. Now, that doesn't mean that we still don't advocate for a 2-week physical therapy check with a women's health physical therapist, because there are some gentle things that we can be doing while we're skin to skin with the baby, while we're mothering, that can help us feel better faster. So we still advocate for a 2-week postpartum physical therapy check to know if we should relax, to know if we should be doing some Kegels, to know how to improve our posture so that our necks and backs are not killing us. Also, just to have somebody to talk to who understands the stress of the fourth trimester. Somebody to help you process the birth experience, whether it didn't go as well as you'd like or whether it went exactly how you wanted. The birth experience can be traumatic only in the fact that it might not have gone how you were expecting. Just that small difference. And when people, well, at least you have a healthy baby. Yes, I'm so grateful I have a healthy baby. I'm so grateful I'm healthy. I'm so grateful. But also it wasn't what I expected. And so we have to process through that, and working with your women's health physical therapist can help you with that. And we talk about slowly and mindfully rehabbing our core, because a lot of us, especially after that first baby and sometimes after the second baby, we just want to be who we were as fast as possible. So we want to just get back to our heavy exercises, even though you're not sleeping. And we just need to do it slowly and mindfully and understand how to fully engage the muscles carefully so that we can feel better. And after you're done having babies, feel better and stronger than you ever did before you had the babies. So that's 2 comments on my dress. Thanks, everybody. I have 4 dresses just like this. I have a green one, a blue one, a teal one, and a pink one. Thanks, Land's End. So on to number 3 is not recognizing what is normal when it comes to mental health in that 4th trimester. It's really hard. It is hard stuff. And especially in this time where we don't know, where half the population thinks you're wrong all the time, it's extra hard. So know that it's hard and be okay that it's hard is number 1. But number 2, if it goes beyond hard into we're crying all the time, into nobody understands us, into, you know, it's also kind of normal to despise your spouse a little during pregnancy and postpartum. But if it becomes something that is out of control, this is when we need counseling. You know, we are of the firm belief that postpartum women are the most underserved when it comes to mental health and physical rehabilitation, and especially postpartum women of color. Let's totally be honest there, that we are underserved, right? Most of the bad outcomes that have happened surrounding pregnancy and postpartum are due to mental health postpartum. So, you know, we have a counselor, Haley, who is specialized in postpartum. We also have friends in Ames who are specialized in postpartum mental health. We need support in the postpartum period, and mental health is one of the hugest things that we need. Help processing the birth experience, help understanding, is this postpartum depression or psychosis, or is this just normal postpartum hardness? Because having a human being that you are suddenly responsible for is hard. So recognizing what's hard and what needs help is our 3rd postpartum mistake. And I don't even know if I wrote a 4th one. Do you have any questions about postpartum? I would love to hear them. I know that we're coming up, you know, a lot of babies are born in September. So I just wanted to make sure that you understand that you don't have to suffer with pain, because there's women's health physical therapists that can help you with pain. You don't have to suffer with severe mental health issues, because we know that right now is a time when mental health issues are skyrocketing. Of course, because this is maybe the hardest time that most of us have lived through. You know, our grandparents lived through the Depression. We haven't done that. So this is probably the hardest time emotionally that any of us have gone through. And you know, if you add a baby to that, you've got school age children, which is, I've got three elementary age children right now, and I would tell you that the stress of school for me right now is maybe more stress than I've had ever, trying to figure out what school is going to look like. So if you are having a baby and you have school age children, like, this is stuff that you might need help processing. And the good news is that a lot of mental health counselors are doing telehealth, so you don't even have to leave your house. Same with physical therapy. We want that 2-week postpartum check to be telehealth. You don't have to leave your home. We can see what chair you're feeding the baby in. We can see how you're getting in and out of your bed. We can talk about gentle postpartum core rehab that is mindful and slow and intentional and not hurried. We can talk about how to position your body so that your pubic bone doesn't hurt anymore, so your SI joints don't hurt anymore, so your hands, wrists, elbows, those don't hurt anymore, your neck, your jaw. There's so much going on, and we want to be your support system for you and your family members. So, you know, let us know if you have any questions about the 4th trimester. Let's make the 4th trimester something more normal that more people know about and more people talk about, so that we understand that it's a time of healing, it's a time of slowness, it's a time of connecting with the baby, it's a time for the family to be together, and it's a time to support women more than ever. So let us know your questions, because we really want women to have the hope and inspiration to live a vibrant, active, and energetic life for as long as possible. Take care.